Hi, everybody. Today we are going to talk about reflections. So, a reflection is otherwise known as a flip. So, you take something that looks like this and you flip it just like that. Um, and it's a transformation, which is a figure reflected in a line called a line of reflection. This creates a mirror image of the pre-image. So, you have something that looks like this. So determine if the image is a reflection of the pre-image in the pictures below. Well, this right here, if this is a mirror, this is my line of reflection right here, and this is my pre-image. If I reflect this in the mirror, it's going to go from this, it's going to flip over like this. So this angle is pointing towards the mirror. This angle should also be pointing towards the mirror. So this is not a reflection right here. Okay, over here, we took the arrow and we reflected it. So we took it here and we flipped it here. And so this is a mirror image. This is what you would see in a mirror. So this is a reflection. Now, you'll notice that all the pieces here are the same length as they're corresponding on the other side. As you get closer to the mirror, the image gets closer to the mirror. As you get further from the mirror, the image gets further from the mirror. Okay? So there's a reflection. So, let's take a look right here at this triangle ABC. Okay, the red triangle. So consider triangle ABC at the right. It has coordinates of A equals -9, -1. So -9, -1 is right here. B is at -3, -7. So that would be right here. -3, -7. And C is at 1, -4. So we go 1 to the right and 4 down. Okay. Triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. That's the green one. Okay. Now, look at the coordinates. So the coordinates here are 9, -1, -1, -4, and 3, what is it, 7? Yeah, 3, -7. So here's your coordinates for A. Here's your coordinates for A prime. Now, do you see a pattern in this? Well, there is a pattern. The Y coordinates are all the same, but the X coordinates are the opposite. Okay? So when we reflect something, this is the y-axis right here. When we reflect something in the y-axis, all you do is change the sign on the x-coordinate. Okay? So simply just change the sign of the x-coordinate. All right, now let's take a minute and look at A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. So how does that compare? Well, on this one, here's our coordinates again for A, and here's our coordinates for A double prime. So notice this. The X coordinates this time are the same. The Y coordinates change this time. So if I want to reflect something in the X axis, which is this one right here, all you do is you change the sign of the Y coordinates, okay? So change the sign of the Y coordinate. That's all you got to do. Piece of cake. Okay. Notice this too, that X is, or the red one is oriented A, B, C. That's counterclockwise, so it's going this way. Its reflection is oriented A prime, B prime, C prime. It's oriented clockwise. Okay, so they have different orientations. When I reflect A over a mirror, in this case the y-axis, I switch the orientation. The same thing happened here. This is also oriented clockwise. Notice this too. When I reflect this in the y-axis here, um, any point on the red triangle that touches the y-axis, like this point right here, also touches the y-axis with the green one. So here and here. All right, so anytime you touch the mirror, the image should also be touching the mirror. That makes sense. If you think about it, if you stand in front of your mirror and you take your finger, and this is a point right here, and I touch the mirror, as soon as I touch the mirror, my image is also touching the mirror at exactly the same point. The only difference is, if I'm touching with my right hand, my image is touching with the left hand. So it's oriented backwards. Okay, so the vertices of a triangle are -1, 1. So that would be here. There's A. B is at -1, 3. And C is at 6, 3. Okay, draw its reflection in the x-axis. What are the coordinates of this image? Write the mapping. Okay, so draw its image, and okay, so we're going to reflect this in the x-axis. So B is going to go from -1, 1 down here to -1, -1. That's going to be B prime. Okay, A prime is going to go from -1, 3 to -1, -3. C prime is going to go from 6, 3 to 6, -3. And so I'm going to get this triangle right here. Okay, so what are the coordinates of the image? All right, so we had A prime is located at, let's do that again, -1, -3. B prime is located at -1, -1. And C prime is located at 6, -3. So now what's my mapping? So how do you write the mapping? Well, you write it like this. XY goes to what? Well, if you look here, the x coordinates are all the same. Okay? So the x coordinate is still just x. I don't do anything to that. The y coordinate, though, the 1 becomes -1, the 3 becomes -3 on both of those. So I need to change the y sign, so I'm going to make it -y. This is my mapping right here. XY goes to x -y, and I'm done. So here's my mapping. This is just, a mapping is just instructions telling you how to go from one to the other. Okay, I drew my reflection in the x-axis, by the way. That's my x-axis right there. And here's the coordinates of the image. Okay, notice a few things in this figure. Here I've got triangle ABC, and it crosses the mirror. Here's my line of reflection. Okay, so if I reflect it, I get this. I get A prime, B prime, C prime. So notice this is at the same level. A and A prime are at the same level, so are C and C prime, but they switch sides of the mirror, right? This is on the right side of the mirror, this is on the left side. This is on the left side of the mirror, that's on the right side. Notice where it touches the mirror, it touches both figures cross right there. Okay? Now let's answer the questions here. Notice the orientation. This is oriented A, B, C. This is going counterclockwise. And then A prime, B prime, C prime, this is going clockwise. So this orientation changed. From, what was it, counterclockwise to clockwise. reflections are always opposite orientation. If one of them's clockwise, the other one's counterclockwise. Notice where both figures intersect the line of reflection, okay? So, both figures touch the mirror at the same point. You can't have the image touching the mirror here and the pre-image touching the mirror here and the image touching it up here. That doesn't work. Okay, notice what happens if points are on both sides of the mirror. So they overlap the mirror. So this one I have 2 points on the left side of the mirror, 1 point on the right side. This one I'll have 1 point on the left side and 2 points on the right side. Okay, so here you go. You're going to do a lesson on reflections. We'll do this in class. You're going to do 5 through 27 odd. And I will see you guys next time.